Welcome to the Erudite News Hour, MTM TV's news magazine. I am Kirika McGregor-Clue. Coming up in the news, Christians in Ukraine in the face of invasion. The U.S. Religious Freedom Chair demands that Finland stops Christian persecution. Florida House passes controversial Don't Say Gay bill. New Zealand High Court vaccine mandate not demonstrably justified, breach of rights. COVID-19 in Israel, 10,154 new daily coronavirus cases. Texas governor calls on citizens to report parents of transgender kids for abuse. We go right now for a short break, but stay tuned. The news when we return. Welcome back. Russia attacked Ukraine last week Thursday morning, and as the Russian invasion of Ukraine continues, Christians in the country are facing it with prayer. I didn't sleep tonight because I heard strong blows 3 to 4 times, and then there was silence. Then I realized that this attack began at strategic facilities, Tanya Pinchuk told the media. She is a Christian journalist living in Kyiv who had to take refuge with her family in a bomb shelter placed in a school during the early hours of the morning. She pointed out that the Russian army has attacked military bases, important strategic places. Many people weren't ready and started to panic. They have bought everything in supermarkets and tried to flee Kyiv, but there is no safe place now except the west of Ukraine. We need prayers. In general, we are safe here, but it is scary to hear the noise of military planes, not knowing if it is Ukraine or the enemy. It is a very dangerous situation, added Pinchuk. The Ukrainian journalist works in a secular radio, but with a Christian team, and they have changed the program to encourage people to pray and to reduce panic, giving practical advice on what to do in such situations in different areas. Evangelical Christians represent around 2% of the Ukrainian population. Meanwhile, the United States Commission in Defense of Religious Freedoms has condemned Finnish efforts to prosecute Christians for intolerant speech against homosexuality. United States Commission on International Religious Freedom, USCIRF, Chairwoman Nadine Menza gave a statement Thursday in support of former Minister of the Interior Dr. Päivi Räsänen and Johanna Pujula, a bishop of the Finnish Lutheran Church. Räsänen was charged with 3 counts of criminal behavior after talking about her religious views regarding sex and marriage on a radio talk show. Religious freedom and freedom of expression protect the right to peacefully express one's belief in public, even if others might disagree with those beliefs. Finland should not be prosecuting Päivi Räsänen and Johanna Pujula, Menza wrote. The trial verdict is expected to be released in March. Räsänen has served in the Finnish parliament since 1995 and was the Minister of the Interior from 2011 to 2015. And in other news, Florida's House of Representatives passed HB 1557, also known as the Don't Say Gay bill, on Thursday. The Republican-backed bill, which would restrict teachers and school districts from openly discussing gender identity and topics surrounding sexuality in the classroom, passed 69 to 47 and now moves to the Florida Senate for further debate. If passed, the legislation would go into effect for the 2022 to 2023 school year. As CBS Miami reports, HB 1557 prohibits instruction on sexual orientation or gender identity in kindergarten through third grade, and in other grade levels bars discussion that is not age or developmentally appropriate. It would also allow for parents to sue school districts that go against the law. Supporters of HB 1557 framed the bill as a matter of parents' rights, arguing that discussions around sexuality can negatively affect students' mental and physical health and well-being. The bill and its sponsors says its goal is to reinforce the fundamental right of parents to make decisions regarding the upbringing and control of their children. HB 1557 has been heavily criticized since its introduction, and lawmakers amended the bill several times before it arrived on the House floor. We now go for a short break. More in the news when we return.
MTM, dynamite television for the Caribbean.
Continuing in the news, the New Zealand High Court has upheld a challenge to a vaccine mandate for police and defense force staff, stating that it was not a demonstrably justified breach of the Bill of Rights. Justice Francis Cook was asked by a group of police and defense force personnel to judicially review the vaccine mandate enacted under the COVID-19 Public Health Response Act in December. The mandate required all defense force personnel and all police constables, recruits, and authorized officers to receive 2 doses of the vaccine by March 1. But on January 6, 3 unvaccinated staff who did not wish to receive the shots sought a judicial review of the mandate. They were supported by affidavits from 37 of their colleagues in the same position. The group claims that 2 rights of the New Zealand Bill of Rights Act 1990 had been limited by the mandate: the right to refuse a medical treatment and the right to manifest religious beliefs. Part of the group's religious objections to the mandate were concerns over the fact that the Pfizer vaccine had at some point been tested on cells that had been derived from a human fetus. According to UCLA Health, COVID-19 vaccines do not contain aborted fetal cells, but Johnson & Johnson did use fetal cell lines when developing and producing their vaccine, and Pfizer and Moderna used them to test their vaccines to ensure they work. The group claimed that requiring vaccination by such a vaccine was in conflict with the religious beliefs of some of the affected persons. Moreover, a total of 10,154 new daily coronavirus cases were recorded in Israel on Sunday, almost double the previous day's figure. This is likely due to the low number of tests being carried out over the weekend, as seen in the available health ministry data. Over the course of the day on Sunday, 66,915 officially recognized PCR and antigen tests were taken, with a positive return rate of 16.08%. In contrast, only 36,106 tests were taken on Saturday. The number of serious cases continues to drop and now stands at 580. Of that number, 246 patients are considered critically ill, with 217 of them intubated and 22 connected to ECMO machines. The number of coronavirus-related deaths recorded in Israel since the start of the pandemic currently stands at 10,154, with 26 of those occurring within the last day. To date, close to 6.7 million have received one dose of their coronavirus vaccine. 4.4 million have received the third dose, and within that number, roughly 726,900 have received a fourth. And finally, Texas Governor Greg Abbott is calling on licensed professionals and members of the general public to report the parents of transgender minors to state authorities if it appears the minors are receiving gender-affirming medical care. The directive was part of a letter Abbott, a Republican, sent Tuesday to the Department of Family and Protective Services, calling on it to conduct a prompt and thorough investigation of any reported instances of minors undergoing elective procedures for gender transitioning. Abbott's letter follows an opinion released Monday by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, which stated that allowing minors to receive transition care, such as puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and surgery, is child abuse under state law. It's unclear whether Abbott and Paxton can force the Department of Family and Protective Services and other state agencies to investigate claims of child abuse against the parents of trans kids without passing legislation that changes the law. Christians in Ukraine in the face of invasion. The Religious Freedom Chair demands that Finland stops Christian persecution. Florida House passes controversial Don't Say Gay bill. New Zealand High Court, vaccine mandate not demonstrably justified, breach of rights. COVID-19 in Israel, 10,154 new daily coronavirus cases. Texas governor calls on citizens to report parents of transgender kids for abuse. Stay tuned with us. Coming up, it's Miss Jenny Campbell with our news commentary and Dr. David Carr with our health and wellness segment.
Hello viewers, I'm Reverend Valentine Rodney. The program is Word Impact, which is currently being aired on MTM TV, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays in Jamaica, 7:30 p.m. for the Eastern Caribbean. There will be a rebroadcast on Mondays at 7 a.m. Jamaica time and 8 a.m. Eastern Caribbean time. I hope to see you.
Welcome to MTN News Commentary. I'm Jenny Campbell. For some time now, the world has adopted the concept of a global village. That idea was linked to the opening of the superhighway of mass communication through the internet and satellite systems that connected countries across the globe in a tight network of finances, communication, health, trade, and security. Agencies like the United Nations and bodies like the World Health Organization, the International Labour Organization, Interpol, and others signal global cooperation and relationships. Through treaties and partnerships such as NATO, which means North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement, the G7 and G20, and later, of course, CARICOM and others. All of those were established. Nations ratify declarations and agree to principles and policies set out by these bodies. The general idea is that the world is governed by a set of shared rules and regulations that prevent barbarism and suggest equity among all nations. Each nation, however, has its own constitution, and every nation understands that the first and most important role of its government is the security of its people. If not before 9/11, but certainly after that incident with the bombing of the World Trade Center in the United States, it became clear to all and sundry that the global village was in fact a real thing. In the midst of a crisis, human organizations, regardless of how good their intention and how powerful they seem, will fail and will continue to fail. But the goodness of God, through His infinite mercies, will always find a way, even in the midst of a raging war. God has given His people the full and unbreachable assurance that no government, no global body can ever give. And it look carefully at it in Isaiah 54:17. It declares, no weapon by Russia or any other country or any individual that is formed against thee shall prosper. And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, says the Lord. It is time we start to trust God and stop trusting all of these global bodies. Let us continue to pray for the peoples of the Ukraine and the rest of the world. Thank you so much for joining me. See you next week.
Welcome to another Health and Wellness segment. Hi, I'm Dr. David Carr. Now, have you been feeling a burning sensation in your chest today? You could have heartburn, or the medical term is known as gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD. Now, let's talk more about it. Now, what is GERD? Now, gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GERD, is a digestive disorder that affects the ring of muscle between your esophagus and your stomach. Now, this ring is called the lower esophageal sphincter. If you have it, you may get heartburn or acid indigestion. In most cases, you can ease your GERD symptoms through diet and lifestyle changes, but some people may need medication or surgery if complication arises. Now, in terms of the causes, the term gastroesophageal refers to the stomach and the esophagus. Now, reflux means to flow back or return. So therefore, gastroesophageal reflux is when what's in your stomach backs up into your esophagus. Now, in normal digestion, your lower esophageal sphincter opens to allow food into your stomach. Then it closes to stop food and acid stomach juices from flowing back into your esophagus. Now, gastroesophageal reflux happens when the lower esophageal sphincter is weak or relaxes when it shouldn't, and this lets stomach contents flow up into the esophagus. Now, let's look at the risk factors for GERD: being overweight or obese, being pregnant. Now, certain diet and lifestyle choices may make acid reflux worse if you already have it. Now, if you smoke, it's a risk factor. Certain foods and drinks, including chocolate, fatty or fried foods, coffee, and alcohol, eating large meals, eating too soon before bed, and certain medications like aspirin can put you at risk. Now, the most common symptom of GERD is heartburn, acid indigestion. People sometimes mistake heartburn pain for the pain of heart disease or a heart attack, but there are differences. Exercise may make heart disease pain worse, and rest may relieve it. Heartburn pain is less likely to go along with physical activity, but you can't tell the difference, so seek medical help right away if you have any chest pain. Besides pain, you may also have nausea, bad breath, trouble breathing, a hard time swallowing, vomiting, or a lump in your throat. If you have acid reflux at night, you may also have a lingering cough and asthma that suddenly comes on or gets worse. You may also have sleep problems. Now, sometimes GERD leads to serious complications. You can have an esophageal ulcer. Now, stomach acid eats away at your esophagus until an open sore forms. These sores are often painful and may bleed. They can make it hard to swallow. Or you can get what's called esophageal stricture. Now, stomach acid damages the lower part of your esophagus and causes scar tissue to form. This scar tissue builds up until it narrows the inside of the esophagus and makes it hard for you to swallow. Now, in terms of the treatment, GERD treatment aims to cut down on the amount of reflux or lessen the damage to the lining of the esophagus from reflux materials. Now, certain things that you can use include antacids. Now, these drugs can help to neutralize acid in the esophagus and stomach and stop heartburn. Now, proton pump inhibitors, also known as acid pumps, these drugs block a protein needed to make stomach acid. Now, there are several changes that doctors can suggest to your lifestyle to help lessen The symptoms of GERD. Now, avoid food and beverages triggers. Stay away from foods that can relax the lower esophageal sphincter, including chocolate, peppermint, fatty foods, caffeine, and alcoholic beverages. It's important to eat smaller servings. Eating meals at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime lets the acid in your stomach go down and your stomach partially empty. It's important to eat slowly. Take your time at every meal when you're eating. Chew your food properly. Stop smoking. Cigarette smoking weakens the lower esophageal sphincter. Stopping smoking is important to reduce GERD symptoms. It's important to stay at a healthy weight. Being overweight often worsens symptoms. Many overweight people find relief when they lose weight. It's important to wear loose clothes. Clothes that squeeze your waist puts more pressure on your belly and the lower part of the esophagus. Now, if you're having a long-standing issue with GERD and you're finding it won't go away, you can visit me at my office at Clock Tower Plaza so we can discuss your options. Now, thank you for joining me for another Health and Wellness segment as we continue on the journey of obtaining, maintaining, and restoring good health. Please see my contact information on your screen and remember to follow me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Dr. David Carr and on Facebook at Dr. David S. Carr. Send any questions you may have to my email address at drdavidscarr@gmail.com. Join us next time and remember, God desires us to be prosperous and to be in good health, even as our souls prosper. Now stay tuned. Coming up next is Elisa with personal development trends and Camila with lifestyle and entertainment.
Call your name. Oh, Jesus. Oh, sweet Jesus. Every day. Your name is the same. When my troubles surround me and I didn't have to despair.
And welcome to Personal Development Trends, where we encourage you to passionately and persistently pursue your purpose. This week, we will be talking about self-control. We will also look at ways how to improve self-control and build good habits. Self-control, or the ability to manage one's impulses, emotions, and behaviors to achieve long-term goals, is what separates humans from the rest of the animal kingdom. Self-control is primarily rooted in the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is the planning, problem-solving, and decision-making center of the brain, which is significantly larger in humans than in other mammals. Improving self-control and building good habits is much easier said than done, and it takes a lot of physical and mental discipline to better yourself. Self-control can be strengthened with certain strategies. Here are some ways to improve self-control and build good habits. Number 1, avoid temptation. Do not put yourself in situations that will allow it to be difficult to exercise self-control. Whether it's the desire to eat, to drink, spend, or indulge in other undesired behavior. One way to avoid temptation is to find a healthy distraction. Go for a walk, call a friend, throw in a load of laundry, or do whatever it takes to get your mind off whatever is tempting you at the moment. Number 2, plan ahead. Research has found that planning ahead can improve willpower, even in situations where people have experienced the effects of ego depletion. For example, if you're trying to reduce your sugar intake and you have a hard time controlling those late afternoon snack attacks, Eat a well-balanced lunch packed with plenty of fiber, protein, and whole grains that will keep you full longer. Number 3, practice using self-control. While your self-control might become depleted in the short term, regularly engaging in behaviors that require you to exert self-control will improve your willpower over time. Think of self-control as a muscle. While hard work may exhaust the muscle in the short term, the muscle will go stronger over time as you continue to work it. Number 4, focus on one goal at a time. Trying to accomplish a list of goals at any one time will be ineffective. Depleting your willpower in one area can reduce self-control in other areas. It is best to choose one specific goal and focus your energy on it until it is completed. Once you turn the behaviors needed to reach a goal into habits, you will not need to devote as much effort towards maintaining them. You can then use your resources to achieve other goals. Number 5, meditate. Meditation is a great way to strengthen your self-control muscles. It is a great place to start learning how to be more self-aware so you can better resist temptations. This technique can also help you learn to slow your thoughts, which can help you control any gut impulses getting in the way of your self-control. You must remind yourself of the consequences. Just like self-control can help you achieve your goals and improve your physical and mental health, a lack of self-control can have adverse effect on your self-esteem, education, your career, your finances, your relationships, and your overall health and well-being. Reminding yourself of these consequences can help you stay motivated as you work to control yourself. You are at a powerful place when you are able to control yourself. It aids your decision-making ability, it allows for greater chances of success, and self-control enables you to beat temptation. So remember, self-controlled people are not only in charge of their actions, they can regulate their emotions as well. They can control their anger or harmful emotions like jealousy or hatred. This helps them handle personal relationships better than those who do not have self-control. Thank you so much for joining me this week. We hope that you found the information to be valuable. For more personal development trends and insight, feel free to visit my website at millionhairbeauty.com, where you will also learn more about our outreach arm, the Beauty of Growth. It is a personal development initiative for the nation's youth. I'll see you next week.
Welcome to this week's lifestyle and entertainment segment. I am Camelia Kelly. What is considered a lifestyle? A lifestyle is a way of life established by a society, culture, group, or individual. This includes patterns of behavior, interaction, consumption, work, activity, and interests that describe how a person spends their time. What are some of the different types of lifestyle? Google gave us a few, and we're sure there are many more, but we'll just zoom in on 3 for this week. The hedonistic, the adventuristic, and the individualistic. Let's get right into it. Hedonistic. The hedonistic lifestyle is derived from the word hedonism. This definition of hedonism is the relentless pursuit of pleasure. There are persons that we know in the society, for them it's all about party. You party tonight, you party tomorrow, party. And that is the kind of lifestyle that they choose to live. Let's move on. Adventuristic. Adventuristic is derived from adventure or adventurous.
Adventurous lifestyles are characterized by new experiences. You're almost constantly doing or seeing something for the first time. Life becomes one continuous chain of surprises and learning experiences. You're pushing yourself, learning about the world, and discovering things at every turn. Let's move on to our next one. Individualistic. Individualistic cultures or lifestyles are those that stress the needs of the individual over the needs of the group as a whole. In this type of culture, people are seen as independent and autonomous. Social behavior tends to be dictated by the attitudes and preferences of individuals. It tends to focus on self-sufficiency, uniqueness, independence, and autonomy. Several persons across the world live these different kinds of lifestyles, thinking that this is the right path. But according to Proverbs 14 verse 12, the New King James Version states, "There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death." What does the Bible say about lifestyle? Proverbs 27 verse 19 states, "As water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart." Your life is a reflection of the ideals and faith you hold in your heart. The areas you spend time and energy reveal what's really important to you. Whoever pursues righteousness and love finds life, prosperity, and honor. Let's look at what the lifestyle of Christians should be like. As a Christian, someone who has put faith and trust in the redemptive work of Jesus Christ through his death on the cross and subsequent resurrection. Our behavior mirrors, reflects, and resembles Christ. Being a follower and disciple of Jesus extends beyond our outward behavior. It includes a condition of our heart. What are some Christian qualities? What are Christian qualities? Christians should be God-fearing and humble. They should display the fruit of the Spirit given in Galatians 5, which is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, and self-control. Jesus says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." So, let our lifestyles mirror that of Christ.
Jesus at the center of it all. Jesus at the center of it all.
That's it for this week's Lifestyle and Entertainment. You can send us an email at mtmtv.admin@gmail.com with your special services and events, and we'll air it here on Lifestyle and Entertainment. I'm Camelia Kelly. It's back to the news desk with Karika McGregor-Clue.
Thank you for tuning in with us for this week's episode of the Erudite News Hour, MTM TV's news magazine. On behalf of all of us here at MTM TV, have yourselves a great evening.